Hi, my name is Justin Lin, investment strategist at Global X ETFs, and welcome to this week's Express Lane. Now, this week, US and Australian markets both headed higher, with the S&P 500 up for its 9th week in a row, which is its longest since 2023. Now, why was that the case? Well, inflation expectations are down across both markets after core PCE was lower than expected in the US and CPI was lower than expected in Australia. Of course, the Iran and US are also close to reaching a deal over the Strait of Hormuz, and that has helped lift investor sentiment as well. Now for the green lights of this week. Economic data continues to point to the upside for emerging market AI-related regions. For example, South Korea has seen its exports rise by more than 50% year over year as demand for its memory chips starts to grow. Taiwan's GDP growth is also forecast to grow at almost 10% in 2026 after its latest revisions. Both of these economies are starting to grow massively due to AI economics, and we expect this to continue into the future. Now for the yellow lights. While AI and semiconductor names have been the engine of earnings growth over the past few months, and investors have been correct in seeking out that earnings resilience, especially as macro continues to be volatile, there could be a vulnerability to a correction in the near term if there is a normalization in market environments. Investors will be incentivized to rotate out of their winners and bring their exposures back towards benchmark neutral in such a condition. Finally, for the red lights of this week, Australian banks continue to underperform global benchmarks even as interest rate expectations fell thanks to a soft CPI print last week. Now, why is this the case? We believe investors are continuing to focus on the potential for slower loan growth and honing in on these banks' asset mixes. This is a headwind that we expect to persist for the foreseeable future. Thank you for joining us for this week's Global X Express Lane. We look forward to seeing you next week. If you have any comments or questions, leave them down below.